So, Jane, I've got a couple cases that I have that I wanted to talk to you about, and I knew these are the kind of things that maybe other people have similar kind of situations. So, with that, I want to talk about a friend of mine. His name is Steve, not his real name. Steve is my son's godfather. I was talking to his son about 2 weeks ago, and he told me that his dad will never fly in another airplane. I go, what? So I called Steve and said, dude, what's the deal here? And he started telling me about flying into an airfield in Kuwait as part of an Air Force element and getting shot at. And he said, I never wanted to fly a plane again. It's like, that to me is post-traumatic stress disorder. So, Jane, if I'm the son or daughter or the spouse of a guy like Steve, how do I encourage him to talk to a VA rep or someone like you?
Well, first and foremost, anybody that's suffered any type of trauma has had the fear of their life being taken or of the person standing next to them or their buddy. You are going to suffer with post-traumatic stress. It is an automatic, it is a brain chemistry, it is a fight or flight fear that goes on in your brain. It is what we CVSOs, or what CVSOs, when I was one, would refer to as the normal reaction to an abnormal situation. So sometimes I'd be sitting with veterans and we're talking about their knee injury or their scar on their arm or, combat things. And I could see little things that told me that, okay, there's some issues here. There's some closed doors that perhaps they're not ready to open yet. And my recommendation was always, look, you may not be ready to go see a shrink or a psychiatrist or any of that kind of stuff. So, but maybe it would be helpful for you to talk to another combat vet that has been there, that understands how you feel about loud noises, certain smells. A lot of the guys from Vietnam, smells are a trigger for them because of the burning flesh or the burning jungle or, somebody's burning leaves in the neighborhood, that kind of thing. And I'd say, so let's start out by talking to other veterans. Do you belong to a veteran organization? 9 times out of 10, they'll say no because they are afraid to get that conversation going. But if you look on the VA website and you look up vet centers are combat veterans. And they are trained in the counseling field. They can't prescribe drugs. They can't even diagnose you. But they can write all the notes and they can make the recommendations. They can tell you how they dealt with it, how the other counselors in the group, and you may start out one-on-one and then you may get into group. And then you may decide that you want to start mentoring some of the young guys just coming back. Remember, what you're going through is not abnormal, and there are ways to learn how to cope with it. And you have to accept that, okay, maybe you're one of the guys that's going to spend the 4th of July in the basement with the music up loud. But that doesn't make you wrong. That doesn't make you, quote, sick. That just means that you went through trauma. And you need to get that accomplished. You need to get those hours put in. You need to go and get that diagnosis so that you know what's wrong with you, so that you know that you haven't got a brain tumor or something.
Jane, I think it's on the website. If you don't mind, I'm going to pop it in here. Look like the right website there? It says,
okay.
Okay. So that is at vetcenter.va.gov.
Yep.
So if you have those kind of conditions or you know people with those kind of issues, this is the place to go.
This is a perfect starting point. This is someone who knows and understands, and they've been there, and they have taken all the classes. They're going to help you get to the point where you can sit down with that shrink and get that diagnosis. That way the shrink, all he needs to do is read the notes and say, yep, I agree with your counselor. This is not because you saw someone murdered in your hometown. This is because you went to combat.
Okay.
So, or you suffered trauma in service. Military sexual trauma, a side effect is PTSD. Anytime you're faced with trauma, anytime you have a fear for your life, it's a moral and mental injury. Your brain reacts much stronger, much faster, much more intensely than just being afraid your child's going to fall off the jungle gym.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of learning how to cope with it, whether you sit down, plant your feet on the floor real hard, think about the pressure of your feet on the floor, whether you close your eyes and listen for 5 sounds around you, bring yourself back into this moment. Stay in the middle of the road. Get yourself between those limits so you don't go in the ditch.